Hello and welcome everyone to kind of a special edition of MythCast. This is episode number 9. I'm your host, the vocal terrorist, Jesse Vocterain, obviously the official caster of Clan Mythology. But I thought, since we're not doing a Myth TV tonight for whatever reason, there's been some scheduling problems, I'd appear on camera and remind you guys that this Saturday, 10 AM Central European Time, so 9 AM for us Brits, Clan Mythology will be participating in the Dutch Starcraft League Team Finals. That's right, they'll be playing the semi-finals, hopefully advancing through that and then to the live finals as well, and taking the gold, taking the big monies. And guys, if you want to tune into that, that will be hopefully broadcasted over at twitch.tv/DSCL. No, sorry, DSC League. There we go. Twitch.tv/DSC League. Hopefully that will be being broadcast there, as well as to the live peeps viewing. I'd love to watch it myself since I'm not going to be there. But I'd like to see you all either going to the Hague, because you've still got time to get yourself some tickets, book your seat reservations and attend the Dutch Starcraft League, or if you're like me, can't make it, then to watch the live stream, support Clan Mythology as they hopefully go on and win the whole thing. So, now I have got a replay for you, as you can see, and we're going to get into it right now. We're going to be looking at a Mythology player here, the Red Zerg, and his name is daZ. And his opponent today will be a Blue Zerg Recon. So we're going to be looking at a Clan Mythology ZVZ. So daZ, obviously the Clan Mythology player in this setup. A very, very strong player, and I believe one of the players we are taking out to Holland. That's the word. That's the country that rhymes with Dutch. That's the country that means Dutch. I was about to call it Dutchland, but that's not a real place. That's a place I've just invented. And it's going to be interesting for me to watch this. You know, I like doing the MythCast, and I like that we're going to get to see a ZVZ. ZVZ, one of actually one of my favourite matchups to watch. Very interesting matchup in how it goes. Obviously, the build orders are quite often set. We often see players looking towards that Ling Bling style into Muta, but nonetheless, we sometimes see players, especially the Myth players, actually just switching it up a bit. Now this is interesting because of course daZ went for the very fast gas and pull. This is a very, very early pull, and with only 2 workers in here, will that specify a Baleen Nest? Because it's going to be a long time before they get 100 gas. And meanwhile, his opponent, Recon, going a lot more standard, getting that pull down, then going into a hatchery. So daZ here is going to be looking, yes, it will be a Baleen Nest. Okay, good. My maths is still pretty excellent. So daZ going for a very, very quick Baneling attack. And I like that. I like to see some aggression in ZVZs. And as you can see, Recon's spawning pool will be finished up. But I don't know if this Overlord saw those moving out. We're going to take a look and see if this one catches them. Nope. All of the Lings will skirt around those. Okay, these must have been seen. Yeah, okay. But 2, well, 2's normal. So now we're at the point where 6 Lings are going to hit the front of this base. And, well, we only have 4 on the way for Recon. Okay, Recon is aware of what's going on. Starts to plant a Spine Crawler. The problem is that Spine Crawler will not finish if he's... yeah, he's had to cancel it. He's having to get back. He's got to make it a lot closer to the mineral line. That's better. But of course, this base is very shut off, and we are going to have Banelings coming out. Meanwhile, Recon has nothing of the sort. He only has this one Spine Crawler going up. He's got the Queen to defend, but otherwise these Lings are not going to do anything once these Banelings are out. It's going to be very, very scary. So here we go. Okay, some nice Ling hits there. He's making sure to surround the Queen with the Lings, and now the Banelings are going into the mineral line. Again, some really nice hits, and now Recon is in trouble. daZ is miles ahead at this point. Obviously, Recon does have this expansion hatchery up, so if daZ can survive, if Recon can survive and hold off these inevitable Lings before they take them this hatchery, he'll still be in a decent position. But if we look at the units tab, see how we can see it's still fairly even. But Recon is going to lose this hatchery, which is good for him. Good for daZ, rather. Good for our player. And there is still no baneling nest for Recon. So, there's a very, very good chance that daZ will continue to put pressure on here. Will have speed first. That's a definite now. Speed is well underway. Now has no workers in gas, committing almost entirely to Link. So, he's not going to have any gas for more banelings. He says, well, you've got a spine crawler right now. I'm not worried about that so much. And now he's just going to use the links to try and harass here. Taking down that gas would be very nice. We do have a baneling nest of Recons going up, but it's incredibly late. I don't know if... I mean, he has to do it, but it was something I'm sure he'd have loved to have done much, much earlier. He is going to lose this gas as well, because he has plenty of gas to begin with, but he's only going to be able to make just a handful of banelings, because now there is no gas mining there. He's having to rebuild the extractor there, where it will be within range of the spine crawler. Now, the question is, where does daZ go from here? It's quite possible he can just throw an expansion down and then be ahead of his opponent. If we take a quick look, we'll see while he's just ever so slightly behind in terms of drones, it's literally one drone on a production cycle, and getting an extra hatchery down first after denying the hatchery off his opponent would be fantastic. Now, this is a lot of banelings coming out of Recon. It's way too late for daZ to be thinking about taking down that baneling nest. If he was going to do it, he needed to have done it a lot earlier, and now there's no way he can really engage these straight up. He's morphing these banelings way too late. Recon, you need to get in there. daZ, you need to be careful. And that was good. That was harassed back nicely, and daZ says, do you know what? I can't keep up that attack anymore. I'm not going to try and play baneling wars with you. I am going to drone up. I'm going to expand. And that's a wise move. Take a look at the unit counts. It's 15 lings against 6 banelings. By the time the 6 banelings actually got over here, because of course they're incredibly slow, there would be no way that Recon was busting through this front, and daZ will be perfectly fine. And of course Recon is at the point now where he's still kind of nervous. He's building a second spine crawler, even though his opponent has gone home. He's not re-expanding yet, because he can't afford to. He can't afford to take that risk. So instead, we've got Borrow coming out. He's going to want to be borrowing some banelings. He is making, obviously, the additional spine crawler, and he's getting double gas now. His own speed coming out incredibly late. I like the spine crawler from daZ. Bit of a safety spine crawler, just to make sure, you know, if my opponent counters me, tries an all-in, I'm going to have something to defend there, especially now that he's already seen the banelings. Recon is going to be expanding himself here, which he's going to need to do. But it's a long, long way behind daZ. It's nearly the entire build time behind daZ. And daZ is aware of this expansion going down. So daZ says, you know what, let's go put some pressure on. He's got to be careful though. There's a lot of banelings out here. And they're going to start to hit these lings. If he's not careful. Okay, one goes down, taking 2 lings with it. But this is good so far. Okay, 2 banelings traded for 3 lings. More than worth it. But holy crap, that's a lot of banelings. And now Burrow is out. Burrow is out, and of course, no layer tech. There is nothing to let daZ see this. daZ, you've got to be careful, man. Oh my word, daZ, do not run all your lings in there. Hopefully this is just a fake pressure from daZ. While he, of course, expands and drones up out. Yeah, he's putting 5 drones on at home. So this isn't an attack. Okay, very, very nicely done. Forced a lot more lings out. So that's going to be very good. And he's actually going to sweep up to the north and catch these lings as they come in. And with more lings than his opponent, Recon is going to have to run. Still, the Recon will be the first to move towards that layer tech. daZ having stayed down on normal hatchery tech while he just drones up insanely. And the drone counts are in fact very, very even. So Recon starting to get decently back into this game now. Found himself his even keel. Obviously daZ now is going to start adding additional gases. And basically both players just staying very cagey. Man, these borrowed banelings are scary. Still, more drones transferring down, and we're going to have to wait and see exactly what times Recon decides to take these additional gas. Of course, his opponent is going to have access now to a lot more gas than him, and it would not shock me to see a spire come down from both players as this layer finishes. But of course, Recon is going to start to want to get those additional gas if that's the way he's going with this. And look at this, daZ is expecting that, so Spore Crawler starts to go down immediately, which will also help him spot for any burrowed roaches coming in. Meanwhile, Recon's doing a double evo chamber, now adding the 2 additional gas. Very, very late, but... well, Spire is coming down for our Mythology player, for daZ. It's good to see, because that means his Spire's gonna be done first. Meanwhile, we have the macro hatch in the main base of Recon. We've got the 1-1 upgrades coming out, along with the centrifugal hook. So it looks to me like he's building up, perhaps, to just a massive big 2-base Baneling all in, with the Speedlings at 1-1 as well. The thing about this is, well, there's going to be mutas out, and they're going to be out soon, and there's going to be a lot of them, especially with a 3rd base also going down for daZ. So in regards to that, I really don't see that kind of an attack doing all that much, but there's no tech. For Recon, he's getting these Spore Crawlers, which is going to be nice and defensive, but you can't just do that. daZ is going to get evolution chambers of his own. He's going to start to build up upgrades behind this. He's getting a Roach Warrant as well, just in case the mutas become ineffective. Obviously, will be an effective force against any mass Baneling work that Recon intends to do. And it's going to get an Infestation Pit as well. So, daZ doing the incredibly tech-heavy style, whereas we're still not seeing any tech from Recon whatsoever. As you can see, he's cut all drone production. He's doing nothing but making Lings and Banelings. So definitely going for this huge attack. Now the thing is, the first mutas are already out. daZ's Lings are going to get caught here, but the mutas should be responding to this. They should be turning back. He should see just how many units are coming in. That's a lot of Banelings. He's going to have to get into a better defensive position here. So Recon's Banelings now rolling in, a lot of Lings going down already, and now moving into the front. We do have a couple of Spines there, we do have Queens there to start to get the hits, but oh my word, this is an awful lot of drones that are going to disappear soon off the map. A lot of Banelings there being used on Queens, actually. Let's just see, yeah, see, that was not that great, and now the mutas are back to help clear it up. We've got more coming in, but, well, it really isn't much, because the Banelings are going to fall so quickly to the mutas that daZ is going to be able to clean this up. Recon there with a very ineffective attack. Could have done a lot more with that, but daZ with good reactions. Very, very quick response time. Allowed him to deal with that. So now we're at the point where we're going to see these roaches come out. And that just makes sense. He's already got plenty of mutas. He knows his opponent's going to be behind with a Spire, as he is. It's not even finished yet. And he's just going to continue on with these Banelings. Now, one way to defeat mutas is to just absolutely mass Banelings. The thing about that is, once some roaches are out, not going to happen. And daZ, although he can't attack, although he can't properly be harassing with these mutas, he is going to do everything he can. And it forces Recon to pretty much stay in his base. Oh my word, there are a lot of Lings falling there. 2 Banelings. Looks like he lost a lot of drones as well. Yeah, unfortunately he did lose 10 drones. Sorry, I missed that there. Did not catch those rolling in. But we now have this large force of roaches out, and they're going to be blocking off any further attempts in that regard. Now this is the point where daZ is going to have to be careful though, because he gave up on the mutas while Recon started to get them out. So Recon's numbers are going to be higher. And that's something you have to be very, very careful of. We can already see double the muta count here. Now, daZ responds by getting a lot more mutas, adding 10 more. He has the production to do that, but there's going to be just this little bit of time where he has to be careful about engaging these mutas. Spore Crawler's not quite done yet, and now he's engaging in a straight up fight, trying to just buy time for the Spore Crawler to be done. But the Spore Crawlers do not do splash, remember. But finally we're going to see more and more Mutalisks added to this, and Recon is going to have to get out of there. Recon is not going to have the production on 2 bases that his opponent can have on 3 bases with those 6 gas geysers. So now, once again, after that tiny window of time where he may have taken some damage, daZ is now very much in the lead. All of these mutas here are going to melt. And, well, Recon is pretty much done here. He's trying to do damage here. These Lings are getting in and doing well. Where are the Roaches? The Roaches are finally moving in. And now that the Roaches are back, now that the Mutas are back, this shouldn't do a lot more. There's a fair amount of economical damage being done. I'll hand it to Recon. You know, he's not a bad player whatsoever. He's doing what he can. He's going to kill a lot of drones here, actually. We're now up to, holy crap, 45 drones killed. Okay, then. So we're doing even more than we expected. Killing damn near every last drone. Really only one base of drones left, but despite that, he's still not a great deal ahead. He's 5 drones ahead. So while that's a lot of good kills, daZ still has the better army composition, the better army numbers, and, well, an economy that's really not too far behind, especially since his own 3rd base is up and Recon's is only just now being put down. If daZ becomes aware of it, which he's about to, that will get taken down. And here we see this hatchery will fall. He's being a bit cagey here, but honestly I think his numbers are just as good. Yeah, his numbers there were actually just as good. There's no +1 attack for either player, so he could have engaged there, but it's a hard thing to judge. Especially when mutas are clumping up like that. So with the latest round of drones that comes out, we can see daZ more than enough in the lead yet again. And now we're going to see him start to try and chase down the mutas of Recon. Recon's going to have to be careful here. He still doesn't really have enough to continue to engage this. +1 flyer attack is on the way for both players. And a small attack at the 3rd base is repelled by these Roaches. So all in all, we're pretty much just waiting. Recon trying to establish his 3rd proper base and get the Spore Crawler down. And daZ just waiting for, well, really just bigger army numbers. Probably to max out, to have the upgrade done and then to go for it. Now, again, needs to be careful here. Because the numbers here are kind of even, but at this point, because no +1 is out for either player and the spores are not done, he will be fine attacking into that. He would actually clean up every single muta. Yes, he would lose, you know, a fair amount of his own mutas, but he will end up having enough to remake those, whereas his opponent really would not. Nonetheless, this base is now very, very vulnerable. There's only a queen and a spore crawler here. And so the Roaches are going to come in, start to do the damage. Now when the mutas come to respond, perfect time for daZ to get in, gets the first volley off as his mutas are hitting the Roaches. Speedling's going to do a lot against the Roaches, but it's really all about this muta versus muta attack. Good transfuses coming out from Recon, trying to keep his mutas alive for as long as possible, but the Roaches clean up all the Speedlings. There are more than enough mutas for daZ to clean up the muta count of Recon, and well, that is going to be the game, because daZ is going to push in here. He will finish this attack by wiping Recon off the board. Great moves there by the Mythology player. Couple of hairy times throughout the game, but he recovered well. Even takes down the Spire, so there will be no more mutas after these last 2. And with a supply differential of 112 to 62, that is very much the end of the game here. It just remains to be seen how long before Recon realises it. He's going to stay in for one last counter-attack from the looks of it, sending his Speedlings out across the map, which could have been effective, but there simply aren't enough of them. And the mutas will come back, clean those up, and daZ will still have an economy. Whereas, as you can see, his opponent still has an economy, but because he does have this 3rd base up now, but it's just not the same. It really isn't. Economies don't matter when you don't have the muta count in ZVZ. So Recon is going to hold out for a little bit longer, assuming that the longer he can stay in the game, the better position he will be in. But as we said, there is no Spire yet. It's still remaking. And the muta count for daZ is just going to go insane. As we can see here, oh my word, that is a scary amount of mutas. They're going to come in here. We've got more spores coming down to stop the Spire from going down, but it's way too late. So this Spire will 100% die if daZ wants it to. He can actually just straight up fight the Spore Crawler. There's no way of stopping it. All of these drones will disappear. And look at this, you know, Recon just asking, what opening was that, you know? He'd like to know. And he's correct. daZ is correct, rather. He's not lying. It was indeed a 10-10. And Recon is just not prepared for it. So, nice attempt to hold on and continue the game by Recon. Very nearly coming back. But overall, daZ the victor. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Check out more from us at clan-myth.com. And I'll see you all for the next edition of MythCast.